beloved viewers at 9 p.m. You are watching on live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the major stories. Presidency in Dakhil, first step of President Anglais' tour of the interior region. National Assembly Inter-Regional Parliamentary Conference on the ICPD, the 25th conference. And on the international scenes, the Idlib crisis in Syria, Erdogan announced a summit with Russian, French and German leaders. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic started his visit by visiting the region of Dakhil, as in particular the capital of Dakhil. Proud to be the President, his first choice is the slogan by which the city of Unity gave a warm welcome to the President Anglais. A huge crowd was mobilized for the occasion in front of Dakhil prefectures, and the head of states took a crowd bath in a lively atmosphere. He greeted and lent the crowd of personalities and anonymous people who had come to welcome the President of the Republic. The songs, dances and a jubilant population waiting for the President of the Republic in the middle of the morning. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, did not ignore the young folk dances with which he performed gestures and movement without losing the rhythm. For the #1 devotion, this tour aims to continue his policy of proximity initiated several years ago by establishing direct contact with devotion of all ages and all communities. Then the President Anglais will be able to measure for himself the progress made by the interior region and investigate directly the difficulties of the living condition of the people. Thus, all the components of the city of the Unity were present in the tent set up inside the prefecture's residence, where the President of the Republic was greeted by standing ovations. The President of the Republic has held an important speech in which he first placed his honor and proud to be among the compatriots of Dakhil city. Let's listen to the head of state.
الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. dadka halkan isugu yimid muwaadiniinta reer Dakhil.
First of all, I'm honored and proud to be among my compatriots from the city of Dakhil. If I have decided to be with you today, it is first of all for me to be reunited. To be with you is also a duty for me because of my position. It is also my duty to listen to my compatriots on a regular basis. Also, the officials who accompany me in the conduct of the country's affairs regularly inform me. I have made the choice today to meet in dialogue directly with the living forces of the nation representative of this region. The other aspect of our dialogue is duty that is also incumbent upon us, which of informing you as best we can of the projects underway in the short, medium and long term for the benefits of the population. For your part, you must inform us of your concerns, your expectations, and your criticism of the government action currently underway. In this respect, that our dialogues is interactive and let us start from there constructively. That is why I have asked to meet a representative sample of all the active forces in the region so that all the issues relating to social, economic, and cultural life can be studied and the dialogue can be a source of refocusing if necessary. In saying this, I give you credit for having militated and participated in a peace movement that brought an end to the dark period that our country went through. A peace movement for which our country was going to sink into disaster like many African countries. And this merit is recognized to you by the nation of the Dakhil and Dakhilois.
إلهينا تلا لسارته إنتاس يعني عرض بادو تين وضن كان الجن بادو قشين قبل نمت كل كي أي مرقتي دجال سكية وقيمدي هوشا لغو بختية لغو بوكسية وضن كان إذن كلا هذيك الولا ندون لا ملك لا وحا أفريقيا هستا أيانا قبسلها in dee laydiin hambaliyeeyo taana oo laydnii og yahayna inaan nii sheegno waajibkeenna wey.
In the second part of President Anglais' speech, the number one of Djibouti thanked all the representatives of the various leader corporations, the entire republic and private sectors combined, but also the notables, religious leaders and women for having been present at this day of meeting. Let's listen once again to the head of state.
ama dawladda ha u shaqeeyaan kii caafimaad ka soo jeeday kii waxbarasho ka soo jeeday kii biyo ka soo jeeday kii beera ka soo jeeday kii haweenka arrimaheeda ka shaqaynaysay iyo horumarkeeda culimadii iyo odayadii maskaxda u ahaa waddankan taladooda in la dhagaysto
In the second part of the President Anglais' speech, Djibouti's number one thanked all the representatives of the various labor corporations, the entire public and private sector combined, as well as notables, religious leaders and women for attending this day of meetings and dialogue that have chosen. The head of state stressed that during this session it is important to undergo a listening exercise so that everyone can participate in these exchanges. The main questions that we must identify are whether the orientation and action carried out by the government are producing results or whether these same political actions have not achieved the expected objectives. It is also important to understand each other and to listen to each other in order to consolidate our achievements, the civil concord, the love of the homeland, which in Islam, said the head of state, represents, I quote, a field which must be constantly watered by our duty to propagate, to cultivate good conduct by the counsel and teaching of the population. Finally, President Anglais pointed out the external interference that comes from great powers that aim at destabilizing our country, in the face of which we must stand united toward this attempt. The President of the Republic concluded that Djibouti is fully willing to cooperate with all nations wishing to develop it, and this is in mutual respect and friendship.
Itaal aanan anagu gaari karin kol hadday haystaan inaan la falgalno oon danaheenna ka ilaashano nabadeenna iskus iyo yani hadirdaamadoodana inaan iska ilaalino danteennay tahay anagu wanaag walaalnimo iyo horumar iyo cilaaqaad wanaagsan inaan la yeelano cid walba oo wax nala doonaysa nabad nala doonaysa deganaansho nala doonaysa wada shaqayn nala doonaysa intaba diyaar baan nahay.
One of the participants of the question and answer session during the president's meeting with the population has extended his thanks and gratefulness for the visit of the head of state and wished him a warm welcome. He has recalled his high school studies back in 1999 and a period of head of state sessions of the Supreme Magistrate. He has then talked about his professional career and success in the port of Djibouti, but also creating his business in the transport industry and commercial sector. He said that he is a vibrant testimony of everything achieved since 1999 as a result of the head of state's policy and visible today thanks to my business. He said, I came to recruit 60 employees and play a major role in a job creation. He has taken advantage of this opportunity to ask the president for the protection his business and product. For his part, and answering the question of the young man, the president said that when the state covers the defense, peacekeeping, education, health, water, resources, all of these aspects are the backbone backbones of the nation. As for the productions and the creation of business is not up to the government, but the young people of Djibouti, and we have to protect them from people who want to take advantage of them. The head of state has congratulated the young man for his perseverance and creating job opportunities for his fellow citizens, job opportunities which benefit many families and children in their daily lives.
dad kale oo isbab walaalihii ah ay yiraahdaan waan garab dhiganaynaa annaguna mid dadkeenu taas xariif buu ku yahay arwaa laga dhargeyn buu odhanayaayo ma keenayo sonkor iyo shaah iyo wax kale ma keenay tii aad adigu keentay unbuu ku soo garab dhigay taasina labadiiba way burburinayaan markaas kol hadduu dadku yar yahay hadduu dadku badan yahay haddii suuqu uu ballaaran yahay 2 iyo 3 iyo 4 buu qaadi karo waa wax soo biiray kolka aad baan u hambalyeynaya ninka waxba la'aan baan ka soo bilaabay yiri halkaas lacag badan baan ayaan geliyay wadanka intaa oo qof baa shaqaysiiyaa uu yiri rajo abuuray reerow abuuray masruuf buu abuuray ciyaal baa wax lagu baran doona waxaasoo dhani waa waxa aan rajaynayna in dadkeena ka doonayna wey.
Within the framework of the International Parliamentary Conference on Monitoring and Follow-up of the International Conference on Population and Development, the National Assembly held today an important workshop with the participation of parliamentarians from Africa and Arab countries. During this occasion, parliamentarians present many common questions and challenges in order to improve the living condition of the citizens. And this conference allows the implementation of a decision that meets the expectation of people from different countries. During this conference, the parliamentarians discussed issues that spark the commitment of Nairobi Summit on knowledge of family planning and gender-based violence, and also regarding women and girls. This conference contributes to exchanging experiences between different countries to make the work more productive. Representative of the United Nations Agency participated in the workshop, and Japanese ambassador Mr. Koi Yanu was also there. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Muhammad Ali Ahmed, delivered a speech at the beginning of the meeting in which he welcomed the participants, stressing the concrete importance of this meeting to face the challenges facing our country to reach the desired development. It is a great pleasure for me, he said, to have you in this high place of Djibouti's democracy for the Interregional Parliamentary Conference on the follow-up to the ICPD 25. I welcome you all here in Djibouti, a letter of meeting and exchange. He added, I hope that you will enjoy the program of process and propose a visit as well as your stay in Djibouti. It is important for us as parliamentarians to assume our responsibility in monitoring the action of our respective governments and to be accountable to our continent, to our constitution. Similarly, we must increase our presence in the file and work together with the local and regional elected representative to achieve the various objectives assigned to us to ensure this kind of proximity to the population, the creation of a parliamentary office in which in each constitutions is more than necessary, said the President of the National Assembly. On Saturday, the Minister of Health, Mr. Mohamed Warsama, took part in the emergency ministerial meeting on the African Joint Strategy to combat the coronavirus, which was held at the headquarters of the African Union in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. In addition to the African health ministers, he participated in the meeting organized by the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, known as the UN partners, to discuss the coordinated approach to dealing with this global epidemic. It is the regard health decision makers highlighted several areas of intervention, particularly the continental strategy to better prepare and respond to any new cases of this infection virus of coronavirus through careful monitoring of people's movement, which will improve monitoring operation at the level of the continent. The Basic Education Teaching Center Qualification Center has embraced an occasion to follow up on graduate professional researches filed by the third group of a trained teacher within the framework of methods for evaluating trainers teacher. The Director General of the Center, Ms. Aisha Farah, accompanied by her closest collaborators, supervised the process of collecting these researches conducted in the chapters of the center. The goal of this occasion is to provide the trainers with the teachers with information and evaluate the progress made in the work of trainees, develop the structures of the theoretical part, and start writing the theoretical part of the researches, and determine the methodology of particular parts of formation file researches data. At the end of the process collecting these reports, their work will be fixed remotely in front of the religious teachers. They will train the new teachers so that the trainees can submit a copy of their professional work next May, the coming May, while the final report will be filed on the progress. Within the framework of cooperation with the professional work of a workshop was organized to generalize vocational education and training with about 20 companies and those of Institute of Researches and Information Centers of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training. The workshop brought together local specialties and technicians in the field of construction and public work, where the workshop comes within the framework of developing a curricula and improving teaching with the learning of the one hand, and also strengthening the school's relationship and work on the other hand. The workshop was attended by the Inspectors General of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Mahdi Umar Farah, the head of employment project and expert of the international standards, Ms. Jean Pouvenors.
Ensure that the private sector, which is a very critical partner of the Ministry of Education, is being implicated in all the improvements in curriculum, so that there's a stronger connection between the labor market and the training and educational programs within the Ministry of Education. It was a great workshop, and we look forward to more input and more participation by the private sector.
Still on national news, so within the framework of regular maritime surveillance operation in the Djiboutian territorial water, the elements of Djiboutian Coast Guard, while on patrol in the areas of Gubei Thursday evening, stopped a Yemeni boat of the type of Victory carrying out the illegal fishing operation, and the boats carry out more than 700 kilometers of fish caught in our water regional. The Coast Guard continues its effort to put an end to activities, these activities for illegal fishing. Those involved in this case will be brought to the justice. The elements of National Laboratory for Food Analysis, known as LANA, this morning arrests a large quantity of expired food that is sold in the local markets and supermarkets. These nutrition consists mainly of expired products and were available to consumers in shops and in the markets. The laboratory, known as LANA, ensure the health and security of consumers, stop the use of this invalid foodstuff, and educates customers to ensure hygiene of food products sold in the markets and to protect the health of the consumers. The National Gendarmerie Women's Handball team competed with the Tajora and the team of Dalk during the competition that brought together the team at the sport complex of Tajora region. After the matches in John Masters of Support, the National Gendarmerie team beat its counterpart with 7 goals. The National Gendarmerie team sparkled during the matches with its counterpart from a show in which he demonstrated his ability and skills. The chairman of the National Gendarmerie authorities praised the effort of players who are changing them in order to raise their level of sport and the images of National Gendarmerie in the field of sports. In a speech to the chairman, the Regional Council for Tajora region, Mr. Hassan Dabeli, the organizers of this handball competition took place in an organized and supervising congratulated the winning team in the wild for the winning and encouraging them to continue and follow their effort in order to move forward and raise their sport level more than the present and participate in the regional and international forum. The Tajora team also encouraged their skills, encouraging them to work and develop their skills and prepare for victory in the coming days, said the prefect of the region, Hassan Dabeli. Moving on to the international scenes, in Adlib, crisis in Syria, Erdogan announced summit with Russian, French and German leaders as the forces of Damascus regime continue to advance in the Adlib region of northwest Syria. Ankara announced a summit with Russian, French and German leaders. This was requested by Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel. The French president and German chancellor spoke by the telephone on Friday with Recep Tayyip Erdogan and discussed the situation in Syria, in particular Adlib, and recent development in Libya, explained in a statement by the French presidency. This has now being done. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced on Saturday that a four-way summit will be held with French, German and Russian leaders on 5 March. Indeed, Russia and Turkey play a strategic role in the Adlib region, the last major rebel and jihadist strongholds in Syria. Moscow supports the regime of Bashar al-Assad, while Ankara supports the rebels group. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom.